So I'm going to jump right in with the questions.
Okay.
Okay. So to look at you, you look like you're Punjabi. Okay. And that's what a lot of people would assume. And I'm sure that you get mistaken for Punjabi where the aunties
Yes.
and they're just like talking to you in Punjabi and you're like, auntie, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes. It has happened a lot of times.
So you're actually from Venezuela.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I think that you have a lot of fascinating components about you because I've known you for so long and I know how wonderful you are. I think your journey is very special. And can you help everybody to understand how it is in Venezuela that you became connected with Sikhi? So you live in a country where there's no Punjabi or Sikh culture, but you've adopted it in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. So everything is Guru's blessing for me. And I kind of understood that when I found this path, or this path found me, with having literally no the star wearing person in the country, just one person. And this one person studied in my same university and lived just a few minutes away from my house. So it was for me, it was very meant to be. So yeah, I grew up in Venezuela. Venezuela is a country in South America, and there is very, very few populations of Sikhs. And when I was there, I didn't see any. So they were like very, very few, and they were not visibly Sikhs. Um, they, I think only one person I met later in Miami who told me who was living in Venezuela was wearing at the star. Besides that, there is no presence of Sikhs at all. So there's one girl who was with me in the university, and she was wearing a turban. I thought she was a Muslim, actually. And because we are exposed to other religions, but Sikh is not one of them. And I asked her, like, why does she wear a headscarf? And she told me, oh, I'm a yoga teacher, but I'm also Sikh. If you want to come to one of my classes one day, you're welcome. And I'm like, okay. I was looking my spiritual path back then, and that was a few years ago already. And when I went to her class, the first thing that they were teaching were the Mool Mantar, and I was very touched by it because they were explaining it in Spanish, not only in Gurmukhi, so I could understand what they were talking about. And I felt really moved, mostly because I had kind of like a process before of meditating, finding my path, finding my spiritual, where my spirit belongs to. And I remember telling her, even before the class, I don't do mantras because that's not like how I meditate. I was, very prepotent. I don't know how to say, like, very like, this is what I do. I don't want to do whatever you do. But this is how beautiful Guru is. Once I entered to that class and I sat down and listened the Mool Mantar, and they did a meditation, like singing the Mool Mantar. I didn't sing because I was like very close to it. At the end of the class, I couldn't stop repeating it on my head.
Wow.
And at the end of the class, I was asking her who wrote it. And she said, oh, Guru Nanak wrote it. And I'm like, who's Guru Nanak? Like your God or something? I have totally no idea what Sikhi was. So she, little by little, explained to me, well, Guru Nanak is the Guru of the Sikhs. And I was like, okay, but what are the Sikhs? And then so on, my curiosity kept growing. And Bani kept in my head. Like I kept singing over and over again. So next week, when I went again to the class because I wanted to learn more, I told her, look, I composed a song with the with the Mool Mantar. So I went from I'm not gonna do this to like I actually made something with it.
Here's the composition.
Yeah, I came with my lyrics and with the melody, and it's like I cannot stop singing it. Like, where does this come from? And then she started telling me, well, this is the first thing you will read, or the first prayer you will read in Sri Guru Granth Sahib. I'm like, okay, what's that now? And she's like, well, that's you can say that's the Guru nowadays. I'm like, okay. And she said, well, it's in a shape of a book. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, all right. So how does this work? Yeah, so she said like it's okay, start maybe just feeling like what are you feeling? You want to know more. I understand, but like feel the words, like what do you feel with them? And I say like I just felt a lot of correspondence of what is being said. The fact that the Mool Mantra talks about unity and about no fear, no hate, and about truth,
Mm.
that made me realize that, or not realize, I felt that for me that was truth. So I wanted to know more. Therefore, I start my own investigation because I am curious. I am very curious. I have always been like that, and I didn't want to wait till next class for her to tell me. I just started looking at myself
Good.
for myself, and I went to. I remember the first thing I saw was Sikhi Wiki, and there is a lot of information there. I was like, okay, I have the advantage that I speak English, so I could have access to many resources. When I tried to find resources in Spanish, there were not so many, so I just kept reading in English. So the next class, she gave me the Japji Sahib, and when she gave me the Japji Sahib, I didn't even know like that was what was it, or if it was sacred or not. Like I have no idea. She just told me this is like the first prayer, 6 to in the morning,
Hmm.
and just read it. She didn't tell me you need to do this, you need to do that in order to read it. She just told me read it. Read it whenever you feel that you can. Whenever you have a peaceful time with yourself, you're alone, you can pay attention and just go ahead. Like
Hmm.
she didn't instruct me anything else. So I went home and find my space. I remember I looked for it on YouTube because I want to listen how it sounds originally, and I have the copy in my head. And the copy was in Gurmukhi and Spanish, or Gurmukhi transliteration and Spanish. And I remember that was the moment I said, I'm a Sikh. I don't know what is this. I don't know who these people are. I don't know where it is from. I am just a Sikh. I want to follow this. This is my path.
Wow.
I read and listened Japji Sahib that day, I think like 20 times. I don't remember. But the first time I read it, and I was reading it in Spanish, mind you, I don't have idea what is the other language or whatever. I was just reading that translation in Spanish and just like struck my heart in,
Mm.
in a way that I couldn't even forget. And I remember the body that just like pierced me was the Munda Santok Sarampat Joli, the body that talks about humanity as a brotherhood or sisterhood. And for me, that was the most beautiful thing. Of course, Japji Sahib have so many knowledge and so much love that it's there for us to unfold. But at that precise moment, that was the body or like the thing that made me say, I'm part of the sisterhood or the brotherhood of
Mhm.
this. I want to know this. I want to learn. And since that day, every day I will go on YouTube or whatever and just like start reading. Who were the gurus? I remember my teacher in Sikhi was Bhai Jagaraj Singh Ji. Oh my God, like without him, I wouldn't be here. Like honestly,
So Sikh.
yeah, basis of Sikhi. So every question he had,
Mhm.
he has a video for it. And and again, I'm telling you, this is because I know English. I could have access to it. Otherwise, impossible.
Oh,
So yeah, so that was pretty much like how it started unfolding. And I'm a musical person, so I wanted to sing the Shabbats. I came to know through my investigation that Sikh is actually a musical tradition and a poetry tradition. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like what I need to be. um so so yeah, that's how my journey started, and everything was very linked to Gurbani and Kirtan in my own way. At that time I didn't know better,
mhm.
but like making my own compositions. My cousin joined me, my friend who also was a Sikh, like the one who introduced me to everything, joined me too. She was a musician. We started making our own compositions and mantras, and that I was in heaven. I am in heaven. But what I'm saying is like I found it, everything that clicked so perfectly on on my personality, like the way I see things. It was never uncomfortable. Everything was just like, okay, so the Guru say this about a woman, the Guru say this about dieting, the Guru say this about music, the Guru say this about living. Okay, like everything I say, like yes, 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 no problem. This is very correct at least for me. So, so my curiosity went like up and beyond. I literally spent 3-4 hours a day reading about anything, the gurus, history, where things come from,